everybody, it's me, Abby. For this week, I decided to do a story time video because, yeah, story time videos have always been like my favorite type of videos to watch. This story is about when my family and I went camping last summer and a lot of things happened. And sorry if this makes no sense because I am terrible at telling stories. It was like the middle of July when we did this, and we were going for like one weekend, and out of all the weekends we could have chosen, we chose the worst weekend ever. It was pouring rain the entire time, and there's more that I'll get to later. But like everything started when we were on the way there, and I was listening to my headphones, listening to music, and they just break. They're my only pair of headphones ever, and they break, and I can't listen to music anymore. That was probably the worst part of the whole entire thing. I'm just kidding. As soon as we get there, we get out, and it's pouring rain, and we have to set up our tent. We have this huge tent. It's like 3 rooms. And the whole time we're setting up our tent, it's like 100 degrees outside, pouring rain, and there's a ton of mosquitoes out. So by the time we're done setting up our tent, it's like 6 o'clock at night. And we're all like really tired, so we don't feel like cooking anything on the fire or whatever. So we just decide to drive and go to like our favorite restaurant ever, which is Cracker Barrel. Every time we go to Cracker Barrel, we always get the biscuits. All the biscuits are like perfect circles. And then there was this one that was like deformed or whatever. And my dad eats that biscuit. And after he ate it, he says like his lip feels like tingly. I don't really know. He said his lip felt weird, and we were like, oh, maybe it's that deformed biscuit that you ate. That wasn't like anything too big. We just kept moving on. Also, sorry if the lighting just randomly changes because I'm kind of filming this at 4:40 p.m. Anyways, we go back to our camping site, and by this time it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I don't really know. And we tried to make a fire, but it was basically just a lot of smoke. We had it going for a little bit, and we were able to make some s'mores. And then after that, we decided just to go to bed since there's nothing really to do when you're in the middle of nowhere. But since it was raining and it's super hot, that means it's humid. I think that's why it was humid. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. It was super humid outside, so it was super hard to sleep. We all just ended up being on our phones for like 2 hours. So I thought there was going to be no service, but there actually was some service there. So I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos when it was like midnight or something. I don't know. It was pouring rain, and we were in the middle of the woods inside of a tent. And I was watching YouTube videos while the rest of my family was like about to fall asleep, or they were asleep. I don't know. And I like specifically remember this moment. I was watching a Dolan Twins video, and then here's where everything starts. So I was in the middle of watching our biggest pet peeves, the Dolan Twins new video, and keep in mind my headphones were broken, but they weren't like completely broken. It was just where I had to hold the little button down and only one headphone worked. And then all of a sudden I hear like a creepy voice talking, and like my first thought was like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost, because I always watched like the paranormal story times on YouTube. So I was like, oh my gosh, we're in a haunted forest. But then everyone else in my family like gets up, so I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that's hearing it. And then we all like quiet down and listen to see like if we can tell what it's saying, and we realize that it's not a ghost, like one of the campsite worker people things, you know, going around the camp telling us to evacuate because there was a tornado warning or siren or something. So we immediately leave our tent and run to the car, and we just start driving, not knowing where we're going. We ended up sitting in a McDonald's parking lot for like an hour, and then we all debated whether we should stay there in the car, get a hotel, or just drive back to the campsite since it stopped raining. But we just decided to go back to the tent. When we got back to our tent, it was pretty much flooded, and like all our sleeping bags were all wet. It was humid outside, and it was just terrible. But then in the morning we wake up and we're gonna start a fire to make our breakfast, but since it poured the night before, all the wood and everything was just soaking wet, so we couldn't make a fire or anything. So we decided to go back to McDonald's. When we were driving back to where our tent was, we see like these little like stones making a stairway. So we're like, oh, let's just like explore that for a couple minutes. We thought we were just gonna do it for like 15 minutes, so we didn't have any water in the car with us. So we've been hiking for like an hour, and we ask these other people that are coming from the opposite way, and we ask like how far it's gonna be till the end. It was like a long time. So we ended up being out there for 3 hours with no water, and I hadn't drinking anything that entire day before. I almost felt like I was gonna pass out by the time we were finished. But yeah, that is my story. I hope you enjoyed it. If it didn't make sense, I'm very sorry. Now it's time for the shout out. The theme from last week was Canada. Let's see who got it right. But the shout out goes to Shauna Martin. I'm actually gonna be cool and I'm gonna put it on the screen this time. I don't know why, I've never done that before. But that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, don't forget to comment down below, like this video, and subscribe. Bye!